The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. It was 5 times larger than the biggest human spacecraft ever built. Its dark metal surface reflected the sun as it hung silently above the planet. Admiral John Miller stood in Earth Defense Command headquarters, watching the main screen with narrowed eyes. At 55, John had spent 30 years in the military, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. "What do we know about them?" he asked. Lisa Ward, captain of the diplomatic corps, checked her tablet. "They call themselves the Galactic Hegemony. They say they control most of the Milky Way and have come to welcome us to the galactic community." John didn't like the sound of that. "And they just happened to show up with a warship. They claim it's a diplomatic vessel," Lisa replied. Her voice made it clear she didn't believe this either. The communications officer raised his hand. "Sir, they're requesting a meeting. They want Captain Ward to lead our delegation." 2 days later, Lisa and her team of 5 diplomats docked with the alien vessel. The inside was vast and cold, with curved walls that seemed to shift color as they walked. The aliens themselves were tall and thin with 4 arms and skin that looked like polished stone. Their leader, who called himself High Chancellor Zorax, stood nearly 8 feet tall. His upper pair of arms was crossed while the lower pair held some kind of electronic device. "The hegemony welcomes Earth," Zorax said through a translator. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "We have watched your development with great interest." Lisa kept her face neutral. "We appreciate your welcome, Chancellor. Earth is eager to learn about our galactic neighbors." Zorax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Good. The terms of your membership in the hegemony are simple. You will provide us access to your planet's resources. You will accept our guidance and protection. In return, we will not destroy your civilization." Lisa's diplomatic training barely kept her. 6 weeks passed. The hegemony ship remained in orbit, sending messages demanding Earth's surrender. They received no reply. On the surface, cities appeared quiet. Factories seemed to slow production. To alien observers, it looked like humans were frozen with fear. They could not have been more wrong. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral John Miller walked through a massive underground complex that had not existed 2 months ago. Thousands of workers moved with purpose. The sound of machinery filled the air. "How are we doing, Sam?" John asked. Sam Carter looked up from his workstation. His eyes were tired, but determined. At 40, Sam was Earth's top weapons engineer, a genius who now worked 20 hours a day. "The pulse cannons are ahead of schedule," Sam said. "The alien metals from our Mars mining operation were exactly what we needed. Their ship scans can't detect them when powered down. And the shield technology." Sam smiled for the first time in days. "We reversed engineered it from Lisa's data. It's not perfect, but it will hold against their standard weapons." John nodded. Similar work was happening in hidden bases all around the world. While the hegemony watched and waited, humanity prepared. In another section of the complex, Lieutenant Kate Bishop ran her team through drills again. 20 men and women in black stealth suits moved silently through a mock-up of alien corridors. "Faster," Kate said. "The alien gravity will be stronger. You'll feel heavier. Move like it." Her team had been selected from Special Forces units worldwide. Their mission would be the most dangerous of all. Kate checked her watch. 15 minutes. Then we do it again. Meanwhile, on the dark side of the moon, out of sight of the hegemony ship, a new lunar base had been completed in record time. Major Ryan Cook watched as the last of the defense batteries was lowered into place. "Testing phase complete, sir," reported a technician. "We can bring them online in 5 minutes when needed." Ryan looked at the massive guns, designed to fire projectiles at incredible speeds using magnetic acceleration. "Keep them cold. No energy signatures." The quiet preparation continued in orbit around Jupiter. Hidden among the gas giant's many moons, engineer Olivia Martinez supervised the construction of Earth's new fleet. "Hull plating on Ship 12 is complete," her assistant reported. Olivia nodded, checking off another item on her list. Begin installing the Nova drives. Dr. Johnson sent the final designs yesterday. The ships were smaller than the massive hegemony vessel, but they were fast and deadly. Built with technology partly based on the alien data and partly on human innovation, they represented something the hegemony had never encountered: human ingenuity combined with rage. Back on Earth, Colonel Peter Graham studied recordings of the hegemony communications. As Earth's best linguist and actor, he had a special role to play. "I've got their speech patterns down," he told John during their daily meeting. "Their translators won't detect any deception." John looked at the latest intelligence report. "They're growing impatient. We've intercepted communications to their home fleet. They're considering a demonstration attack on one of our cities." "Then it's time," Peter said. John didn't answer immediately. Once they moved forward, there would be no going back. Humanity would either win completely or face extinction. "Send the message," he finally said. "Tell them we wish to discuss terms of surrender." The next day, Peter Graham stood in a simple room, facing a communication screen. When the alien face of Chancellor Zorax appeared, Peter allowed his body to slump slightly, his face showing carefully practiced fear. "The people of Earth are ready to discuss terms," he said, his voice trembling just enough. Zorax's 4 eyes blinked with satisfaction. "Wise decision. We will send a resource evaluation team immediately." Little did the hegemony know, they were flying into a trap months in the making. As Peter continued the conversation, appearing broken and defeated, a message went out to all Earth's hidden forces. Operation Typhoon is now active. The silent preparation was over. The time for action had come. 3 days later, a hegemony scout ship landed outside Washington, D.C. Colonel Peter Graham met them, with a small group of officials who all looked tired and defeated. The 5 alien representatives towered over the humans as they stepped out of their vessel. "We are pleased you have come to your senses," said the lead alien, who introduced himself as Sub-Commander Krull. "The hegemony is generous to those who accept their place." Peter kept his eyes down, playing his role perfectly. "We have prepared a meeting room to discuss the terms of our surrender." They walked into a large government building. Peter had carefully selected the location. It was one of the few places on Earth not currently hiding military preparations. The walls were bare, the furniture simple. It looked like a place belonging to a civilization that had given up. "Our main extraction fleet will arrive in 2 Earth days," Krull said once they were seated. "They will begin assessing your mineral deposits and establishing processing centers." "How many ships should we expect?" Peter asked, his voice carefully measured to sound nervous but cooperative. 23 vessels. They will position themselves over your major resource sites." Krull's 4 eyes blinked with satisfaction. "Your oceans contain elements rare in our part of the galaxy. They will be our first focus." Maria Lopez, Earth's communications officer assigned to the meeting, quietly recorded everything. Beneath her scared expression, her mind was working quickly. The information about ship numbers and positions was exactly what they needed. "And what role will Earth's people play in this process?" Peter asked. Krull made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Those with useful skills will be assigned to appropriate tasks. The rest will be relocated as needed." "Relocated where?" Maria couldn't stop herself from asking. The alien's skin darkened slightly. "That is not your concern." The meeting continued for hours. Peter carefully extracted more information while appearing to be negotiating better terms for Earth. In reality, he was gathering intelligence on the hegemony's plans, fleet positions, and technology. When the aliens finally returned to their ship, promising to come back the next day, Peter and Maria hurried to a secure underground facility beneath the building. Admiral John Miller was waiting with Sam Carter and a dozen military leaders from around the world. "They bought it completely," Peter reported. 23 ships arriving in 2 days. We have their planned positions." John studied the map Maria had prepared. "They're spreading themselves thin, exactly what we hoped for." "Their arrogance is our advantage," Sam added. "They don't think we're capable of resistance." "What about their weapon systems?" asked a general from China. Maria displayed the data she had secretly scanned during the meeting, consistent with what Captain Ward discovered. Their shields are strongest at the front. The rear propulsion systems are their weak point. John stood up and addressed the room. We have 48 hours. Every ship, every weapon must be ready. He looked at each person in turn. For 6 decades, humanity has fought itself. Now we face an enemy that wants to enslave us all. There are no countries anymore, only Earth. Later that night, Peter sat alone in his quarters. Tomorrow he would meet with the aliens again. Continuing the deception, he took out a small photo of Lisa Ward. They had been friends at the academy. Her death had hit him hard. "We're nearly ready, Lisa," he whispered. Across the solar system, humans worked through the night. On the moon, Ryan Cook's defense batteries were fully installed. Near Jupiter, Olivia Martinez's fleet of 35 ships was almost complete. In orbit around Mars, stealth platforms were moved into position. Dr. Eric Johnson made the final adjustments to the Nova Drive system. The technology would allow Earth ships to move faster than anything in the hegemony fleet. Kate Bishop and her infiltration team boarded their specialized craft, designed to look like space debris, but containing advanced stealth technology. The trap was nearly set. The hegemony believed they were coming to claim an easy prize. They were wrong. The hegemony extraction fleet arrived exactly when they said they would. 23 massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit, positioning themselves above oceans and major landmasses. From space, Earth looked peaceful and undefended. Sub-Commander Krell's voice came through on all frequencies. "People of Earth, your new future begins today. Remain calm and follow all instructions from hegemony personnel." In the underground command center, Admiral John Miller watched the ships settle into position on the main screen. The room was silent. Hundreds of military personnel from around the world waited for his command. John took a deep breath and pressed the communication button. "This is Admiral John Miller of Earth Defense Command to all Earth forces. Execute Operation Typhoon." Across the solar system, humanity moved as one. On the dark side of the moon, Major Ryan Cook gave the order. "Moon Base Artemis, weapons hot." Massive cannons rose from the lunar surface, previously hidden from alien detection. They swiveled toward their targets and fired in perfect sequence. Magnetically accelerated projectiles crossed the space between the moon and Earth orbit in seconds. 3 hegemony ships were hit before they even realized they were under attack. Their rear sections crumpled under the impact. "Direct hits on targets 3, 7, and 12, reported Ryan. Their shields were down as expected. In Earth orbit, what the hegemony had thought was space junk suddenly came to life. Commander Chris Taylor's voice was calm. All orbital platforms activated. 24 stealth weapons platforms began firing at the alien vessels from point-blank range. Their specialized weapons targeted the weak spots in the hegemony shields. The hegemony ships tried to respond, but they were in disarray. Their formation, designed for resource extraction, left them vulnerable to attack from multiple directions. "They're raising shields and charging weapons," reported a sensor officer. John nodded. "Right on schedule. Olivia, you're up." Engineer Olivia Martinez, commanding the hidden fleet near Jupiter, acknowledged the order. "Fleet is moving. Nova drives engaged." 35 Earth ships suddenly appeared around the hegemony fleet, having crossed the vast distance in minutes, thanks to Dr. Johnson's Nova Drive technology. They were smaller than the alien vessels, but faster and more maneuverable. "All ships, target engines, and weapon systems," Olivia ordered. "Fire at will." The space around Earth lit up with weapons fire. The hegemony ships, caught by surprise, struggled to organize a defense. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kate Bishop and her stealth team had attached their craft to the largest hegemony vessel. They cut through the hull and entered silently. "We're in," Kate whispered into her communicator. Moving to the central computer core, her team encountered minimal resistance, Most of the alien crew was responding to the external attack. They'd reached the computer core in minutes. "Deploying the virus package," said one of Kate's team members. He connected a small device to the alien computer system. Back in the command center, John watched as the largest hegemony ship suddenly lost power. Its weapons went silent. Then another ship did the same, and another. "The virus is working," said Sam Carter with satisfaction. "It's jumping from ship to ship through their communication network, just as we planned." The hegemony's coordinated defense collapsed. Their ships, unable to communicate with each other, were easy targets for Earth's forces. "Admiral," said a communications officer, "the hegemony commander is requesting to speak with you." John nodded. The main screen showed the alien commander's face. His stone-like skin had turned almost white with fear. "This is impossible," he said. "You are a primitive species. You cannot have this technology." John's face showed no emotion. "You killed our diplomat, Lisa Ward. You threatened our planet. This is our response." "We can negotiate," the alien said quickly. "The hegemony is willing to recognize Earth as an equal partner." John shook his head. "Humans don't negotiate with those who threaten us. We eliminate the threat." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target their flagship." The battle continued for less than an hour. When it was over, 22 hegemony ships were destroyed or disabled. John had given specific orders to leave one ship intact. "Let that one go," he told Olivia's fleet. "They need to deliver our message." The damaged hegemony ship limped back to the nearest alien outpost, a massive space station orbiting a red dwarf star 30 light-years from Earth. Thanks to Dr. Eric Johnson's research team monitoring its quantum communications, Earth knew exactly what message it carried. "Impossible," said the Supreme Commander of the hegemony forces when he viewed the battle recordings. "A primitive species cannot defeat our technology." "And yet they did," replied his lieutenant. "They destroyed 22 ships in less than an hour." The Supreme Commander's 4 eyes narrowed. "They caught us by surprise. It will not happen again. Prepare the main battle fleet." Back on Earth, celebrations were short-lived. Admiral John Miller gathered his command staff. "The hegemony controls thousands of worlds," he said. "We've won a battle, not the war. They'll be back with a much larger force." General Susan White, head of strategic operations, stepped forward. "Then we don't wait for them to come to us. We take the fight to them." John nodded. "Operation Scattered Thunder is approved. You have 30 days to prepare." For the next month, Earth's factories worked at full capacity. Dozens of new ships were built using the technology they had developed and captured from the hegemony. Dr. Eric Johnson improved the Nova Drive, allowing ships to travel even faster than before. Sam Carter's weapons team created smaller, more powerful versions of their pulse cannons. On a secure military base in Arizona, General Susan White addressed the pilots and soldiers selected for the mission. "You will be divided into 20 strike teams," she explained. "Each team will target hegemony supply lines, communication relays, and military outposts across their territory." Commander Frank Davis raised his hand. "They control most of the galaxy. How can 20 teams make a difference?" Susan smiled. "Because they've never been attacked in their own territory. They're used to being the aggressors. We'll hit them where they feel safe, then disappear before they can respond." Nicole Anderson, one of the strike team leaders, studied the star map. "Our ships are faster than theirs. We can strike and be gone before reinforcements arrive." 30 days after the Battle of Earth, Operation Scattered Thunder began. 20 ships, each carrying a specialized strike team, departed the solar system using the Nova Drives. They traveled faster than any hegemony vessel could follow. The first attack came at a hegemony fuel depot in the Rigel system. Frank Davis's team struck without warning, destroyed the facility, and vanished before the station could even send a distress signal. Near the galactic core, Nicole Anderson's team attacked a major communications relay. Without it, hegemony forces in that sector couldn't coordinate. Similar strikes happened across hegemony space. Earth ships appeared, attacked, and disappeared before the aliens could respond. Human forces never engaged in extended battles. They struck critical targets and then vanished into the vastness of space. Admiral John Miller received regular updates in the command center. How are they responding? He asked Maria Lopez, who monitored hegemony communications. They're confused, she replied. They're moving their fleet in circles trying to catch our ships. But they're always too late. Sam Carter entered with fresh intelligence. We've identified something interesting. Many of the species under hegemony control are watching what we're doing. Some are beginning to resist their rulers. John considered this new information. Contact Ambassador Judy Wallace. I think it's time for the next phase of our strategy. In her diplomatic office, Judy Wallace received a secure transmission from a representative of the Zentari, a technologically advanced species that had been subjugated by the hegemony for centuries. Your attacks against our oppressors have given us hope, said the alien representative. We wish to discuss possible cooperation. Judy smiled. We would be very interested in such talks. As Earth's lightning campaign continued across hegemony space, the once mighty empire began showing the first signs of fracture. Species that had been conquered and forced to serve were watching closely as humans demonstrated that the hegemony was not invincible after all. 3 months after Operation Scattered Thunder began, the hegemony was in chaos. Their supply lines were broken. Their communication networks failed regularly. Their military outposts lived in constant fear of human attacks that came without warning. In the Grand Council chamber of the hegemony capital world, High Chancellor Zorax faced angry representatives from across the empire. You promised the humans would be easily conquered, said one counselor, his stone-like skin dark with rage. Now they attack us everywhere. Our fleets cannot find them, said another. They appear, destroy, and vanish like ghosts. Zorax slammed his 4 fists on the table. They are just one primitive species. We control thousands of worlds. A warning siren interrupted the meeting. The chamber's main screen activated to show a human ship appearing near the capital world's defense fleet. It fired several small objects toward the planet before disappearing again. What was that? Zorax demanded. His security chief looked terrified. Not weapons. Information packages. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. Messages to our subject worlds. Meanwhile, Ambassador Judy Wallace stood before representatives from 17 different alien species in a secret meeting on a small moon in neutral space. None of these species had been friendly with each other before. All had suffered under hegemony rule. Earth does not seek to replace the hegemony as rulers of the galaxy, Judy said. We fight for our freedom, as you fight for yours. A Zentari representative spoke. Your weapons and ships are superior to the hegemonies. How is this possible when you were unknown to the galaxy until recently? Judy smiled. Humans have one trait the hegemony doesn't understand. When threatened, we don't just defend. We innovate. We take what works, improve it, and make it our own. By the end of the meeting, 12 species had agreed to join what became known as the Galactic Liberation Alliance. They shared intelligence about hegemony movements and began their own resistance efforts. Captain Daniel Brown led the most daring mission yet. His ship, carrying a team of 30 Special Forces soldiers, approached the Zentari homeworld. For centuries, the Zentari had been forced to build ships and weapons for the hegemony. We'll have 1 hour, Daniel told his team. Get in, free as many Zentari as possible, and get out. The mission was nearly a disaster. Hegemony forces were stronger than expected. But as Daniel's team fought their way into the main labor camp, something unexpected happened. The captive Zentari rose up against their guards. They're helping us, said one of Daniel's soldiers in surprise. The Zentari approached Daniel. We receive your broadcasts. We've been waiting for a chance to fight back. Together, humans and Zentari overwhelmed the hegemony forces. Instead of freeing just a few hundred captives as planned, Daniel's mission liberated an entire world. Back in Earth's command center, Admiral John Miller received the news with satisfaction. The hegemony is facing rebellions on 12 worlds now, he told his staff. Their empire is starting to crumble. Sam Carter pointed to new intelligence reports. Our spies report fighting within the hegemony leadership. Some species are withdrawing their support. On the hegemony capital world, the situation was deteriorating. After months of failed efforts to stop the human attacks, many council members had lost faith in Zorax's leadership. The humans must be destroyed completely. Zorax insisted to his increasingly skeptical council. I am sending our entire remaining fleet to attack their homeworld. That night, as Zorax returned to his private chambers, his own guards assassinated him. The hegemony, an empire that had stood for 1,000 years, was falling apart from within. The news reached Earth the next day. John Miller shared it with his command staff. This isn't over yet, he warned. The hegemony is wounded and desperate. That makes them dangerous. What's our next move? Asked General Susan White. John looked at the galactic map, now showing dozens of worlds in open rebellion against the hegemony. We continue. We didn't start this fight, but we're going to finish it. 1 year after the first hegemony ship appeared above Earth, Admiral John Miller stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, the Defiance. Through the main viewport, he could see the hegemony capital world. Once the center of a mighty empire, it was now the last holdout of a fallen power. Admiral, the remaining hegemony council members are ready to meet, said Maria Lopez, now his senior communications officer. John nodded. Tell them I'm on my way. The meeting took place in the Grand Council chamber where Zorax had once ruled. Now, only 5 council members remained. Their once proud postures were gone. They looked defeated. The terms are simple, John told them. The hegemony will release all control over other worlds. Your military forces will be disbanded. Your people will be confined to your home system until the Galactic Concordat determines you are no longer a threat. And if we refuse? Asked one council member, a final show of defiance. John's face remained calm. Then this planet joins the list of former hegemony worlds. The choice is yours. They signed the surrender document within the hour. Later that day, representatives from 27 formerly subjugated species gathered on the Defiance. Ambassador Judy Wallace had spent months preparing for this moment. Today marks the beginning of a new era in our galaxy, she said. The Galactic Concordat will ensure no empire can ever again control so many worlds through force and fear. One by one, the representatives signed the document. It established free trade, mutual defense, and respect for all intelligent species. A Zentari representative approached John after the ceremony. 1 year ago, we had never heard of humans. Now you have reshaped the galaxy. John shook his head. We didn't want this role. The hegemony forced it upon us when they threatened our world and killed our people. That is perhaps why you succeeded where others failed, the Zentari replied. You fought not to conquer, but to end the threat completely. Back on Earth, celebrations filled every city. The war was over. Humanity had not only survived its first contact with alien life, but had emerged as a leader in the galaxy. Engineer Sam Carter led a team of human and alien scientists working to repair planets damaged by hegemony mining. We can use modified terraforming technology to restore these worlds, he explained to a group of former hegemony slaves. Lieutenant Kate Bishop, now General Bishop, trained a multi-species security force. Our job is to maintain peace, not control others, she told her diverse team. That's the difference between us and the hegemony. Dr. Eric Johnson's Nova Drive technology was shared with all members of the Concordat, allowing free travel throughout the galaxy. Knowledge should unite us, not divide us, he said at the technology transfer ceremony. On the final evening before returning to Earth, John Miller stood alone in his quarters on the Defiance. He held a small memorial service for Lisa Ward and all those who had died in the conflict. We did it, Lisa, he said quietly. They'll never threaten another world again. As the Earth fleet prepared for the journey home, John looked out at the stars. Humanity had been thrust into a galactic community, faced extinction, and emerged stronger than before. Not as conquerors, but as liberators. The hegemony had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humans by their technology, not their spirit. They had expected submission and found determination instead. They had threatened a species that refused to live under threat. The lesson was now written across the galaxy for all to see. Humans don't negotiate with those who threaten their existence. They annihilate the threat, completely and permanently. As John gave the order for the fleet to return home, he knew the galaxy would never be the same again. And neither would humanity.